Okay.
You are listening to WPHM, Digital Broadcasting. The best in paranormal talk radio.
Reaching all the way back to 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition. Here is your host of Fate Radio, Kat Hobson.
Hello there. Welcome to Fate Magazine Radio. I am Kat Hobson, your host, and I am coming to you live from Gulf Shores, Alabama. I am so pleased to be here, but I'm more pleased to be with y'all and to be bringing you one of my favorite guests. Cheryl has been on with me in the past, and that was one of my favorite conversations because she talks about things very few people will. Cheryl is, she's written a book with her wife, Linda Miller Costa, UFO Sightings Book Reference, 2001 through 15. She saw her first UFO at 12. She became inquisitive and wanted to know what that was, started paying attention, and voila, you have someone who has so far spoken at the International UFO Congress, the MUFON Symposium, and she is going to be heading to Laughlin. I don't know if you're already there. Are you en route now?
No, actually, I'm leaving Wednesday morning.
Okay. But you're going to be speaking out there, and forgive me, I don't have the name of that one right in front of me, and I'm planning to try to go there, and it didn't work out. This is not the UFO Congress. This is, MegaCom. You're going to have so much fun. There's so many people that are going to be joining you there. That's going to be a huge conference.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm
really looking forward to it.
You also write New York Skies, right, for the Syracuse New Times?
Yep.
So you do a little bit of everything.
Well, Syracuse New Times is what launched it for me. I got chased out of about 12 or 13 editors' offices when I proposed the idea of a weekly column on UFOs in New York State. And the editor at that time was a guy by the name of Larry Dietrich. And I called him up. It was kind of like a last shot, and he said, "Come on over. I heard you were pitching people. Come on over, let's talk." And first thing he did before he looked at my 5 slides was sit down and have a cup of coffee with me and talk about UFOs. And this guy was obviously, after about 20 minutes, I realized he was as well read on the topic as I was.
Interesting.
And he said, "I'm sympathetic." You know, it was his last word. He says, "Show me your slides." And I showed him. Made my pitch as to what I thought the demographic would be, and he said, "Okay, we'll try you out for about a month." He says, "No good. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out." I said, "Okay, fine." And the talk was kind of like, I don't know if you saw The Princess Bride. It was kind of like the dread pirate Roberts, saying, "I'll most likely kill you in the morning," And so about a month later, I gave him 4 or 5 articles. About a month later, I get a phone call. "Cheryl, come on over. I want to talk to you." I thought, "Oh, that's it. It's over."
Oh.
And I had a little trouble getting a parking place at their parking lot because it was being torn up. And I come into the meeting about 10 minutes late, and there's all these people sitting around his board table. And I walk in, he stops what he's talking about, and he looks over, points at me, and says, "There's our rock star."
Oh. That was not what you expected. How awesome.
No, it was not what I was expecting. And then the second comment, I said, "What do you mean?" And he says, "Well, you're pulling more page views than all of our columnists combined." And I went, "Whoa." So that was kind of how it got started. And that was in July of 2013. After the book, the UFO Sightings Desk Reference came out, and we got quite a great deal of press after the New York Times did a huge piece on us in Science Magazine back. This was in April of 2017, and my paper was very quiet about it. And what I did not know was all these editors from all over the country and all over the planet were calling my editorial staff and asking them about me. Okay. And so editors very frequently do not get that kind of stuff, except maybe complaints from readers. And after about 6 months of doing this stuff, they decided, okay, it's time to do an article about our own. And so one guy sat down. One digital editor sat down and interviewed me one day over at a picnic table we have behind the press building, and I didn't hear much. Okay, and then the main editor came back to me and said, "I'd like some other stuff." I said, "Okay, fine." I told him what he wanted to know, and what ended up coming out of the whole thing was when they launched the article. It was in October of 2017. Good grief, it was a 3-page feature story.
Oh, wow.
And I was on the front cover. I was on the front page, and the picture is great because it's got this picture of me holding up this little sign that says "The truth is out there" kind of thing.
I saw that. And, I used that photo in the video.
I saw that in your promo. Yeah. And so that's made it around the block a few times, that picture. And in fact, it showed up in the stream. I won Researcher of the Year from 2018 by the International UFO Congress, and as part of Holly Andro's justification for the award, that picture showed up in there. Going, oh my goodness, so that was a lot of fun. We enjoyed that.
That is a lot of fun. And I like him. He is so funny anyway. So
he's a doll. I really, I wouldn't be where I am if he hadn't taken me by the hand and pointed a few things out to me. So,
isn't it nice to find those people along the way?
Well, especially in the UFO community. I mean, there's I've had my share of people who just absolutely have no use for me whatsoever. So. I get my share of hate mail, and that's been very frustrating. Particularly, it wasn't so much that they hate our work as much as they pick some aspect about me they don't like, and they make a big deal of it. And so for me to say that the UFO community is racist and homophobic, transphobic, and that kind of thing, it's an honest statement in my direction.
You wouldn't think that a community that is dealing with something as anomalous as ufology would be so close-minded. I mean, that's my take on it. That surprises me.
I had a professor reach out to me from some place in North Carolina about a month ago. He wanted to. I was supposed to go speak at Duke University about right now. In fact, I wasn't supposed to be in town, but the gig got canceled, and for good reasons. And so what happened was there was this whole thing with. He says to me, he says, Cheryl, I don't understand how you could be, you were involved with UFOs back in the late 60s and early 70s. It was mostly guys. And I said, Sam,
how did you?
In those days,
you did
I was
not.
a guy. And the conversation deteriorated from there. And so the bottom line was, he admitted that there had been this essentially a good old boy club in the UFO community. And when Linda and I came out with our book, I mean, a lot of mail that we got said, "You people fell out of the sky. How dare you write a book like this?" And our attitude was, "Look, you just got showed up by a couple of girls, and well, nobody ever published a book okay, the only book, and this was researched by a library research staff, okay, at a college in up here in upstate New York. They researched it on our behalf and said the only reference to UFO statistics. She worked a number of years at the National Academy of Sciences, D.C., and she was the head librarian at the Environmental Protection Agency for 15 years. Okay, she knows her stuff. And me, I got the arts and entertainment degree. I got the top hat and the cane, and so I tend to be the visible face of the book because I'm not afraid to go out there and do presentations and press the flesh and do all the stuff you got to do in the public relations things. But while I crunched the data, Linda set the tone for it, and she said, we're not going to have any cute aliens on the cover. It is going to be a book of statistics. It's going to be a study of 21st century UFO sightings, something modern, because the convention, and something from the 70s or something from 1947, And I said, hasn't anybody noticed it's still going on and it's a but UFO sightings, And so we decided to crunch the numbers and put data in, and they're still rehashing
on it. Talk amongst yourselves. We'll be right back.
Sorry about that.
Okay, we are back. And Cheryl, I'm so sorry about that, but let's flow with this. And we've had gremlins this week.
Yeah, we've had our share of them this week as well. The bottom line in the whole thing was when putting the book together, I did a majority of the crunching since I had that kind of a background of data analysis and crunching data coming from my Lockheed Martin experience, working in IT security, looking at huge amounts of data logs from firewalls and things like this. And then when I retired from Lockheed, I had a couple of year job working for a major bank. They had a field office up here. It was a kind of a back office kind of operation. And I learned how to work with pivot tables. Boy, you want to learn how to crunch data, you go to work for a bank.
Gracious, yes.
And they taught me some techniques that I had never dreamed of at Lockheed. And so when it came time to write this book, actually, let me go back a step. 2015, I gave a presentation at the International UFO Congress. Okay?
Right.
This is 2015. This is the first time I ever spoke there. And I had a professor, a guy by the name of Dr. Gordon Spear, who was a professor of physics and astronomy at Sonoma University in California. And he came up to me during one of the mixers. He says, I loved your presentation this morning. Because I wasn't really crunching data, but I had statistics about counties in New York State that I had added up very, very, very manually, so to speak, with a calculator and some pen and paper. And he says, can you get me county data for a particular part of New York State for a study I'm doing? I said, boy, pulling county data is very difficult. MUFON doesn't collect it very well, and NUFORC, National UFO Reporting Center, doesn't collect it at all. I wrote a letter to Pete Davenport and I said, do you, somewhere deep in the database, do you guys have like county data? He says, look at a map and put a pin in it, and that was their attitude on it.
Well, then we both know a guy who did that.
Who was that?
With the pins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Tom Conwell. Yeah. Him and I were actually in parallel in our development. We're both New Yorkers. We're only about an hour and a half, 2 hours down the road.
He's who connected me with you.
Oh, did he really?
He really did. He said that I had to talk to you.
Well, he's speaking at MegaCon this week as well. I think he's speaking on Tuesday.
I think so, too.
Yeah, so this is cool. Unfortunately, we're going to cross like ships in the night because I'm not getting there till Wednesday. He actually has to leave on Tuesday after his presentation, so for other things he's scheduled for. So, but the bottom line on the thing was this: we looked at it and we shared some of this our data on Facebook with some of the New York State researchers, and they were coming back and saying, well, We didn't know there was a cluster in those counties. Oh, we didn't know there was a cluster over there. And so Linda and